Hello YouTubers, hope everyone's doing well. Today's video is going to be about how TC can improve the skill gap for Gears 5 and other future Gears of War titles. I feel like I needed to make this video. I also want to apologize to my fans why I haven't been making any videos for Gears of War, because I just don't enjoy Gears 5 and I think it's very difficult for me to make videos if I don't enjoy this game. I think the game is heavily flawed, so I'm going to explain in this video how TC can really improve Gears 5 and future other Gears of War titles. So hopefully this video does pretty well, and hopefully most people will agree with me. If you disagree with me, that's honestly fine. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but this is my opinion of how the game could be more skillful, more competitive, and much more balanced. One huge improvement TC can make is lowering the grip range of the Gnasher. Right now, I think the grip range is pretty high, and as you can see in this clip, it's pretty true. I think that the grip range right now is pretty cheap, because if somebody's trying to get into extended shotgun battles, which in my opinion, that's what makes Gears of War a very skillful game. But anyway, as you can see, this player is trying to get into a extended shotgun battle with me, and all I did was walk a couple steps after his first shot, and I just got one shot kill. And honestly, that's very cheap. And I think if TC can lower the grip range to the point where the Gnasher has to be on my opponent's chest for me to get that one shot kill, it will stop me from getting very cheap bot walk kills, and it will definitely improve the extended shotgun battles of this game. So far, I really think it's cool that the Coalition is adding 8 Gnasher shots back. It will definitely help increase the extended shotgun battles for Gears, because I think it was very silly for Node Zero adding 6 Gnasher shots. Nobody asked, for this change, and I didn't understand from his perspective how it was more skillful. To this day, it doesn't make any sense. I actually think it was to cater to the casuals, in my opinion, but it's a very positive change that 8 Gnasher shots is returning to Gears 5. And anyway, this is my perspective of why the grip range needs to get lower. Another way TC can improve the skill gap is to allow players to squad up and go against other players that are in squad, back like in Gears 4. I already made 2 videos explaining why Gears 5's ranking system was a terrible decision and has caused more problems. If you guys remember, it was very easy to play with a group of friends, despite how skillful you were. However, in Gears 5, this is completely gone, because TC has made a very complicated ranking system, and because of this, the game feels very shallow and soulless when players can't necessarily come together and play. On the older games, it was much more fun and enjoyable to play with your friends. In Gears 5, right now as we speak, lower skillful players have a much more easier time to squad up and have a higher chance of beating players, and it has caused a lot of unbalanced issues. As you can see, I'm going against 4 clan members when I'm just solo killing, which is very fucking sad if you ask me. It's also no secret that if you're a skillful player and you're solo killing or if you're dual stacking, you're basically gonna have bronze silvers on your team, and TC thinks that it's some kind of even playing field, which is a fucking joke. I don't understand why this decision was made. Like I said, if something isn't broken, don't fix it. If I try to go against the exact same clan members with a squad, TC won't allow me to go against them because of their skill level, which is kind of ridiculous. As you can see in older games, all of these players are in a proper 5v5 squad and going against each other. That is much more enjoyable and balanced gameplay, and this needs to return to Gears 5 so the matchmaking could be a much more enjoyable gaming experience. I also miss the feeling of being able to play with your friends. Like that feeling is really gone in Gears 5 compared to the older Gears of War games, when Gears of War is pretty much a game that brings people and friends together to play as a group and compete with each other. And Gears 5, like I said earlier, it's just very soulless. It's just very shallow. It just doesn't feel good. It's not a game that brings people together, and we need to bring back the old ranking system ways so people could come together once again. Another way TC can improve the skill gap for Gears of War is having high fall damage on the Lancer. Here's a great example. This is Gears 4 competitive tuning. If you guys remember that anybody that played Gears 4, that the competitive Lancer was much more enjoyable. It was more of a support weapon than some crazy powerful weapon like Gears 4 core tuning or even Gears 5 in general. I know Gears 5 Lancer's a lot weaker compared to Gears 4's core Lancer, but it's still pretty strong. I understand TC made some certain decisions on the Lancer, but I think it was horrible to add 40 rounds in a magazine. I understand that it's harder to use a Lancer now because it's has more recoil on the crosshairs. However, in Gears 4 comp tuning, it was just easier, had more fall off damage. It was easier to make outplays against your opponent. It was easier to walk around the map and just not get Lancer down. And Gears 5, I feel like it's really easy, especially on mouse and keyboard, so something needs to change. But it's no secret, it's just not the Lancer tuning, it's also the maps. The way TC designed the maps in Gears 5 was fucking horrible. There's no denying it. Icebound, Bunker, Vascar, District, all those maps just suck. They all cater to some Call of Duty feeling where you need to get high and rifle people down. They're very well, poorly designed. We need maps that are designed for CQP gameplay. We need maps that need to be more tactical, promote more shotgun gameplay, and promote some type of flanking maneuvers like the older Gears of War games. I don't know if that makes too much sense what I said, but we need maps that are well designed for a CQB gameplay once again. So that's another way TC can improve the skill gap for Gears of War. Avoid making maps that just force some kind of Lancer gameplay. I understand that TC wanted to make the risk and change the game completely, but fans don't enjoy it. It's completely noobish. It's just annoying and nobody loves it. Also, guys, don't forget that merge crossplay is going to be a thing for Gears 5 eventually. So these changes are going to be very important because we're going to see a lot more PC gamers and a lot of console players come together, and I don't have to tell you how overpowered mouse and keyboard is with the way Gears 5 is set up. Another way to improve the skill gap for Gears 5 is adding execution rules or gridiron / escalation rules to improve CQB gameplay. The problem with King is that the maps and the Lancer fall damage is so bad is that casual gamers that are squatting up together are going to hold corners, camp, and rifle people down as much as possible, which makes the mode completely cheap. So here's an example. I got my friend in a private match to show everybody what I'm talking about. So this map District, you know, a pretty shit map. If you're fighting District and the hill is in the middle of the map, majority of players are going to camp and juice and rifle people down, which is completely cheap. And King the Hill rules is really easy to finish somebody off immediately. With execution rules, I have to run down and finish my opponent out with the Gnasher, which makes the Lancer into a support weapon instead of a prior weapon, which will force more CQB gameplay. And that is what Gears of War is about. Gridiron and escalation rules could work also. It will make King the Hill much more competitive. And I think anybody that disagrees with me just prefers getting cheap rifle kills, which is completely unsatisfying and unskillful in my opinion. Another way to make King of the Hill a much more serious game mode is adding longer respawn times. The problem with King of the Hill is that it doesn't teach people how to get punished once you die, like execution, gridiron, and escalation. Those game modes really teach people that if you die, you get punished real hard, and I think that's why King of the Hill is the most played game mode. Well, I think it's the most played game mode. If not, TDM is too, but it's either number one or number two. But anyway, I think the majority of players play rank King of the Hill out of all the game modes is because they can continue spawning over and over again. They want to use the Gnasher as much as possible, and that's understandable. However, once again, it's a ranked game mode, so it needs to be treated more serious. So having longer respawn times will make the game much better. I want to say 10 seconds the most. I want to say maybe 11 or 12 seconds each time you die. It would be much more balanced, because here's the problem with King of the Hill, if you guys already know this. If you kill a couple enemies, they're going to spawn. There's a chance that they're going to spawn behind you, and they're just going to get free cheap kills, and they're just going to rifle you down, which is completely really annoying. So having longer respawn times would stop that, and it will be much more competitive, but that's just my honest opinion. Another way TC can improve the skill gap for Gears 5 is making smoke nades more effective. What I mean by this is, here's an example. I really like that you could get hit markers in Gears 5. You could see how many shots you land against your opponent. I think that's very unique. I think it's so cool to see how many pellets you landed with your shotgun. That is a really cool feature. However, with smoke nades, if you throw a smoke nade and someone shoots you through the smoke, they're able to see you, which defeats the purpose of using a smoke nade. So they're able to get hit markers. And I think that if you could return to original roots like in Gears 4, the older Gears games, I don't think we should be able to get hit markers through smoke nades, because smoke nades should be a very effective utility to help break setups and people camping or rifles and high ground, for example. See, in this clip, you could clearly see how much more easier it is to spot your enemy beyond the smoke nades, because if you look closely, Aurora is able to get hit markers on me, and he can clearly see where I'm pushing from the smoke nade. So the older games was just much more easier to make pushes because how much more invisible you were with the smoke nades. Like I said, I think it's cool that there's hit markers in Gears 5. I think it's really unique, but I don't think you should be able to get hit markers against players through a smoke nade. It'll definitely make the smoke nades much more effective, and it'll help mess up players' setups when it comes to like holding high ground and crossing. Because Gears 5 maps, the new maps, are really horrible and they cater to that. So Gears 5 in general is just a difficult game to make any pushes because of the maps, the tuning, and how less effective the smoke nades are. One thing that's been bothering me for a very long time, and I feel like nobody has been really talking about this, is how easy it is in Gears 5 to hide against your opponents. Here's an example. If you can see in Gears 4, or even the older Gears of War games, I mean, there were moments and real good spots you can hide very well against your opponents, but it wasn't that difficult to be able to spot them. So camping wasn't really, I don't know the word. It was just a lot easier to see people who were camping behind walls and cover. And Gears 5 is just much more easier to camp, hold corners, and be completely invisible. Example is in Harbor in this spot here. You could clearly see that I cannot see him whatsoever. In Gears 4, however, you can clearly see him much easier where he's hiding. So to me, this effective skill real hard, and I think it really caters to casuals a lot easier, and it's just something that I didn't think it should belong in Gears, honestly. It's just my honest opinion. I think TC needs to avoid this in its future Gears of War titles, is not allow players to be much more invisible than they already are, because especially if you're the Terminator character. If you're the Terminator character, you can really just hide and blend in real good, and to me that's it's just sad that TC thinks this is okay to be in this game. Another thing that I feel like no one's talking about is how fast you're able to switch your weapons, and to me this has affected skill. The game is already difficult enough to make any real pushes, and here's an example I'm talking about. In Gears 4, if somebody was corner camping over Nashor and they chunk you pretty good, and they notice once they damage you, they want to switch their snub or lancer, you had to do that ahead of time, and to me that was more skillful in my opinion. In Gears 5, it's completely gone. You can just shoot somebody pretty comfortably with the Nashor and switch your lancer or snub pistol so fast, and you can't really escape from that once you get hit pretty good, especially the Gears 5 tuning. Do I think the Nashor poke damage is good? Yeah, it's somewhere almost in the middle in my opinion. But again, the ability to switch weapons real quickly has really just made the game worse in my opinion, because once someone does pretty good damage to you and you're trying to run away, they're just going to switch to a rifle or snub pistol real quickly, and then there's just no way you can escape, especially that spot where I'm at Foundation. So to me this has effective skill, and it has really become much more cheaper, and it's really effective in mouse and keyboard. So in Gears 4, I had a time to make pushes. You could clearly see Aurora has Lancer out, so I decided to make a push because, well, the Nashor is really effective at close range, so I took advantage against my opponent when he has a Lancer out, and you can clearly see how much slower he is to switch to his weapons. In Gears 5, once again, the exact same spot we're in, you can clearly see how much more bigger advantage you have because how much faster it is to switch your weapons. So making pushes in Gears 5 is just very difficult. So I think switching your weapons slower should return, and I think it's a bigger skill gap in my opinion. But anyway, guys, that's it for this video. The reason why I'm making this video is because I'm trying to show players how to promote more CQP gameplay and more Nashor gameplay. We need more of that to return. What I personally notice is each new Gears of War that has come out, we are getting disconnected more and more with the Nashor, and rifles are being used more and more often. One of the reasons obviously is because it's on PC, but not necessarily 100% true. Remember, it's also the maps, also the way the maps are designed and the way the tuning is designed. So if you guys remember back in Gears 4 comp tuning, most PC players wouldn't play on comp tuning because, well, some of them were being cheap and they want to take advantage against a lot of players on core tuning. So a lot of PC players didn't really want to take comp tuning seriously, and they didn't really know how to use a Nashor correctly. So, but we need to kind of return to those roots because comp tuning was really good. I'm not saying Gears 5 tuning isn't good. I think the Nashor is almost in a good state. It's just the Lancer and the other rifles and the way the maps are designed that promotes so much rifling. So something needs to be changed. We need to return to what makes Gears of War a very skillful and teamwork oriented game. But again, thank you for watching this video, guys. Comment below on this video and let me know what you agree and disagree with me. But hope everyone's staying safe from the pandemic. Hope everyone's having a great day. Peace.